I think we are live.
Yes.
Hello. I think we are live. And there are. Is our audio fine? This is my first
Yes.
live stream, guys. I'm asking the audience also. My first live stream, so please let me know. If there are technical glitches, then I'm really sorry. But is the audio fine for
Audio
me and
for me,
Keshav both? For
for
you, it's
me,
fine?
yeah, for me it's fine. I hope you are also hearing me clear, loud and clear. And
Thank you.
I think since it's your first stream, we should also tell people that we spent the last half an hour sorting out the glitches. So we are
Yeah,
hopeful.
it it was it was quite bad. I
Yeah.
hope to do more streams, guys. I hope to do more streams like this. So, Keshav, how are you? Welcome to my channel. Welcome, guys, for into my first stream. Yay! Big achievement, big achievement. So we are here to talk about so many movies have released over the past, this week, past weekend also, and I am also catching up slowly, slowly with all the movies. So we thought that yes, we need to start with at least one of the major films that released, which is Ponniyin Selvan one. And today, me and Keshav, we are going to discuss about this movie, what we like, what we did not like, various aspects. We'll take your questions as well. What do you guys think? Whoever has watched the film, what did you guys think of the movie? Your comments will take all of them up. So there are 37 people watching. Without notification, 37 people have come in, so I'm very happy.
No, I'm sure like notification would have gone once you went live. Like people have pressed the bell icon. These are the first loyal ones.
Yes, thank you so much,
Shout
guys.
out to them.
Shout out to them, big shout out to them.
Yeah.
Kantara Primal Scream, yes, we will definitely do a very long spoiler discussion on Kantara also. Tomorrow I am going again, once again, to watch it for the second time in Hindi dub, and Keshav has watched it today, so we'll reserve those comments
I
for
just
another video.
just I just returned from Kantara and now I have to talk about PS1. So a bit of a
Your
conundrum.
mind, I can understand. So, uh, let's see how many. Hello, guys. Hello, hello. Sita is here. Then Tommy, Nitesh, Navneet. Hi guys, Ajit. Thank you for joining, guys. 38 people, all of
Somebody
you.
said that Batman Neon is very cool. Thank you. I'm a huge Batman fan. That's why you see it.
I was thinking of doing a neon thing for my own channel name.
Oh, oh nice.
ना था केस
You will
तो ना
need
first.
you will need
हाँ,
three different neon. I just react and review. I overreact to music and what's the third one?
that's the K-pop channel, Ashmita K-pop. No, I
Uh,
just want for this channel. After seeing, so we got a comment after seeing Kantara. I forgot PS1 even
I
exists.
so relate to cool YouTuber. I have forgotten
I've forgotten all
Brahmastra.
movies
I have
actually. Same.
forgotten Brahmastra. By the way, I worked in Brahmastra and I've forgotten that after Kantara. I have forgotten RRR, KGF, everything.
No, it's very impactful. That movie is actually very
Yeah.
impactful. But we are here to discuss about Ponniyin Selvan one, and also I am also going back to that zone when I had watched that film. I watched it pretty late,
Yeah.
uh, because I was in Kolkata when it had released, and I was celebrating Durga Puja at that time. So many movies that released that weekend, I completely missed out. And when I came back, I watched it. So I had like my experience of watching it was good, but the audience around me, I could see mixed reactions from them. So I first want to ask you, what's your overall view of the film?
Overall view of the film, well, first of all, I have a few friends who worked on that film under A.R. Rahman from my college. So I was excited because of different reasons to go and watch that film, not just as a Mani Ratnam comeback or as the combo of Rahman and Mani Ratnam, but
Right.
also for my friends' work and also because how excited we were after the trailer and for the sheer fact that this was in the making for so long.
Right.
and so many people before Mani Ratnam had tried to make it, and it never sort of capitalized, but finally it came to life. And so just all those expectations and anticipation was
Hmm.
finally leading up to 30th of September. And I mean, I went with absolutely blank slate because,
Right.
like you and me, a lot of people have not read the book. It's much more.
I'm reading it currently. I'm reading it
Yeah,
currently.
you told me. So
Yeah.
people probably in the south, and mostly in Tamil Nadu, I think they are more familiar with the whole Ponniyin Selvan because it's a part of their culture, right? So even if somebody has not read the book, they are very much aware of the references, right?
Right.
So for us, it's a blank canvas, and you are just going in based on the little bit of information that you have through the trailer or whatever you can make out of it. So once I went into the film, I just wanted to be, surprised and entertained,
Right.
uh, and also because so I also went late, just like you, and I had seen a couple of people say that you should be very much attentive in the film because you can miss out on so much if you have any distractions at all. So I just put my phone on silent. I sat in. So I watched the Tamil version. I watched the Hindi version, and that was also on the recommendation of a friend because he said the thing with this film is because there is so much to remember. The names are complicated. Who's who, and how they are related and everything. You
Right.
can. There is a possibility that you can get lost in the subtitles and what's going on screen. So he recommended me watch it in Hindi because Hindi dub is very much impressive, and it was, by the way.
Right.
So that way, I was completely enthralled because we have all been fans of Mani Ratnam growing up, and one thing that is always a guarantee with his films is the the visuals on screen are always beautiful, right? So that
Right.
way, you are subconsciously so much involved as a cinema lover, as a cinema goer. On
Correct.
top of that, if you get a very engrossing screenplay and A.R. Rahman's music, so I think those 3 hours just went by like a smooth breeze.
Hmm. That's nice. Same. For me also, I had read one comment that that said that please you have to concentrate from the beginning. The same thing that
Yeah.
you have to really pay attention while watching the film. So because when I went, I had barely started the book, so I also kind of went
Mm.
in with a complete clean slate only. And the Hindi dub, as you said, I found it very very impressive. Though for me, like I think the first half an hour, I was just grasping onto the characters, but after that, like I did not feel that confusion. Like I was
Mm.
pretty clear that who's
Yeah.
who and what is going on, what is the context there. There's a lot of information. I think in the first 30 minutes there's a lot of information, and once you grasp that, like you're set. Then
Mm.
you're set. That's what I personally felt because uh, I honestly went in not for the spectacle because people were expecting that probably. But I went in for the story because I thought a lot of people said that no, this book is really nice. There's a lot of
Mm.
political drama and all. So I went in expecting a Game of Thrones kind of a thing only, and I got that. So I was pretty much like I was satisfied with the viewing. I was not getting bored. I did not feel any lag because there's so much going on that you really have to concentrate. There's no chance of you getting distracted.
Yeah,
But
same. I mean, as you said, in half an hour. So once you get a hold of the names, who are they referring to, and who is Ponniyin Selvan, or because initially you might think that maybe Karthi's character is Ponniyin Selvan, and he's just
yes,
in a disguise or something.
I
So as
actually thought Vikram was Ponniyin Selvan.
okay, so yeah, so all those confusions get cleared out within the first few minutes if you are attentive enough.
Right.
If you're not, that you might miss out on some details.
Correct, correct. That's true. But the surprisingly for me, while I was so much engrossed, and I went for the IMAX show. So
Yeah.
IMAX tickets are pretty expensive, pretty darn expensive. So I went in for the IMAX show, and I could see, a couple of people like walking in and out. I'm like, how are you going out? You can't, you'll
Yeah.
forget everything what you've watched. And then in the interval, one family who came in, they walked out. They just left. They never came back. I said, I
I
don't know,
heard
like it was I think family of five. I
I
said, I don't
heard
know how
that
much you spent on popcorn or the tickets you just left,
I
saying
heard
ki,
that in your
it was,
review as well.
yeah, saying
I
it was
laughed at
boring.
that time also.
It personally hurt me. I don't know why. Like as a movie lover, it hurt me when they just walked off saying, "Oh, boring hai," so casually. But it's like everybody's opinion is there. Movie loving is pretty subjective, so I understand that. But personally, I was a little bit hurt, saying that people just walking
And
out and saying it's
you
boring.
know, being hurt is one thing, and if I were there, like I'll tell you honestly, whenever I have gone for any film in my life, I've never walked out of any film. Doesn't matter how much I dislike it,
Yeah,
only because of the respect for so many artists who have worked on it, right? Because I am myself an artist, and I can vouch for one thing, that no artist makes a piece of art to fail. They put their
right.
100%.
Of course,
They put their 100%, their efforts and hard work. And I am a musician, we make a song in a month probably at best, but these guys spend 2 3 years and even more on a grand film like this, right? So
absolutely,
just
and with
just
so much budget.
so much budget. See, budget is still one thing, but they all put their heart into a project like this, right? So
Correct.
out of respect, I believe that we should not walk out of a film like that.
Right. Yeah, that is also, and also generally also, even if I was not in this, like, looking at making reviews and stuff like that, I can never walk out of a film in between. I will, like, I want to know how it ends so that I can make
Hmm.
a concise, collective decision that, okay,
Yeah,
the things that you like, sometimes it happens like second half, the story completely flips and,
yeah,
you love it even more than the
yeah,
interval,
yeah.
like till the interval time. So I'll never make that mistake ever. But yeah, there are people who walk out of the film. So, but I had heard of people walking out of the film, but this is the first time I actually experienced it myself, and that too for a film like this. So, firstly, so I also want to ask you first, because you are a musician. I want to
Hmm.
talk about A.R. Rahman's music. What I found was so interesting that they heavily promoted the film with the songs and the lyric video. Like one after the other, the lyric videos were dropping, and the songs were a hit in all the languages. I would say I had heard only positive reviews about the song. But interestingly, in the film, if you see the integration of the music, except the first song where Karti is going and for his mission and stuff like that, and the title card happens, all the other songs are like barely a minute.
Hmm.
They don't play fully, like one
Yeah.
minute or 1.5 minutes, and they just take the narrative forward and it's done.
Hmm.
It's done. So, do you what's your take on that? Do you think because the songs were already a hit, they could have, because I wanted the full songs to play, to be very honest. Did you feel that in the film, or did you were like, "Yeah, acha, song is over. Okay, let's move on to the story now."
See, as a musician, probably I could have understood why they edited the film in a way that they didn't put the whole version of the song in there, because for a layman or a casual listener, right? If the song is something that they have loved before the release of the film,
Hmm.
if it's something that they have enjoyed listening, even without visuals, they would want to have that experience in the theater in the big sound, because it's one of their favorite songs. For example, like Kesaria was completely going trending everywhere even before the
Right,
release of the film months ago.
right,
So of course they had to put in the full length song in the film as well. But here the difference was, because there were so many songs which were hit, resonating with people, and there the difference is these songs are also taking the narrative forward, right? Somebody just commented that actual version, the director's cut, is much longer, and this is like an edited
totally.
a version, and which was also almost 3 hours runtime, right? So one of the reasons could be to trim it down to less than 3 hours probably. Another reason could be because there are so many songs, you don't want it to just end up as a musical. So you want like a good balance of songs put in there, relevant information that is also taking the narrative forward,
Hmm.
and relevant parts of song, like they have not put random parts of the song from middle or anywhere.
Hmm.
So I as a musician, I felt it was fine the way they use the songs. I think one good way of looking at it is they use the songs as background score to take the narrative forward. These were not songs just coming out of nowhere only for the music or only for the dance
Yeah.
purposes, right?
Oh my God, something is. I got a call. Oh my God,
I think
guys.
it's probably A.R. Rahman calling.
No, I'll just keep it down. Whoever has to call can call the phone. So yeah, we were saying.
Yeah, no, no. My point was that one way of looking at it is like they use the songs as background score, not only as songs, only as audio or something that people have liked. Because every song has some sort of information which is relevant to the film. It's not just music and dance on screen, right? That's why, and I can totally relate to it because as a composer, I have also worked on films where we are asked to create film versions of full length songs where we trim it down from 4 minutes, 5 minutes to like a 2 minute or a 1.5 minute version, which will go into the film and not a full length one.
This is an interesting comment. I'll just highlight it. So Nitesh says that PS1 is already long, like it's lengthy. But if they had cut some scenes, then it was okay. What do you think about that? Did you feel the length? Like, did you feel it was way too lengthy or something like that?
It was, but that's the sign of a good film. If you don't feel that it's a slog fest or anything, if you don't feel that why is it not ending, if you don't feel that, that means the screenplay is engaging. That means that you're actually into the film and not really thinking about other aspects, right? Once you're bored or once the film is not engaging in it, then all these sort of things come to your mind. So I think kudos to the editor and director for cutting the film like that it didn't feel 3 hours.
Right. And what did you think? There was a lot of mixed reviews for PS1 when the movie had come out because
Hmm.
there were certain expectations that people had looking at the trailer that it's going to be a lot of action with with a lot of dramatic BGM, the slow mo
Yeah.
action, all of that. And the action and drama is going to be balanced here. But obviously, we didn't get that much action, which you expect from like a very, very mass film. So a lot of expectations were not met. When you watched the trailer, did you have this think that, oh, there's going to be more war than strategy?
I felt that it. I mean, it was just my prediction that it could be a combination of both, and also because it's only the part one, and we are still in for part two as well.
Right,
So I knew that a good director like Mani Ratnam would not just be focusing on one aspect of the things. There would be betrayal, there would be deceit, there would be even a love angle, there would be so. I think the way, as I said, it's one thing to have a novel which is something big and something epic, but then to adapt it from book to screen, that's a
exactly,
totally different thing.
exactly,
So I've
exactly.
not read the book. You're reading it, so you can tell better how well they adapted from book to screen because all these ingredients must have been already in place in the book. But
Correct.
then to present it for a cinema audience, to have the uh, what what you said, the strategy and the war and all other aspects, to have them in the right way for
Right.
the audience. I think that is different. So the key was the adaptation. I think.
Correct. For me also, now that I'm reading it, it is pretty detailed. I could say it's pretty detailed. There are a lot of things that is not even shown in the film.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not even halfway through. It's just probably 10% of the book that I have read.
Okay.
So, couple of things I'm able to now. It's much more fun because when I'm reading, I'm literally imagining them,
Yeah.
the actors who are
Yeah.
the characters. So it's fun to read it that way because you now have the world building in
Yeah.
front of you. Uh, so I would say that the way they adapted it, because I also did not feel the lag, even if the length is there, but I did
Mm.
not feel the lag because I was so engrossed. I would love such films which has a lot of strategy, political
Hmm.
drama, kings, and all of that. Something which really personally interests me. So I think that could be one thing. But I really appreciate the writers for it. It's anyway very difficult to adapt a novel.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to leave out a lot of details,
and and you
especially
know
when you're doing a historical fiction.
and so many people said that this would have been a better web series. For example, Sacred Games was made out of a book, right? So they had
Right.
like so many episodes across, uh, chart down even more, didn't afford in a
Right.
3 hour movie. But then I felt that I would have actually preferred it as a movie because this was a big screen cinematic experience. You
Correct.
can't possibly have that sort of a theatrical experience at your in your home, on OTT. I mean,
That's true.
doesn't matter how branched out the details would have been in multi-episode series, but then this novel is tailor made for big screen, right? It's that the sheer grandness and I mean grand scale, and of course Mani Ratnam is the perfect guy to get it done and get it executed the way it happened eventually. So I'm happy they didn't go for the OTT thing.
Okay. Which character was your favorite in a way that you could connect with this character a lot and you like seeing the character?
It will be an odd choice, but I think I was kind of, you know, very much sort of engaged with the. I forgot the name. The guy who's sort of the bald guy who is with the Karti's character. The Vishnu Bhakt. What was his? I forgot. Sorry, I forgot his name.
You got it. I understood which
You
guy
are
you are.
also
Not
forgetting the
really
name.
bald. No,
Not really bald, yeah. I mean, that Pandit guy, somebody
got
can
it.
tell us the name in the comments. I forgot, but for me, he was adding in with little bits of details here and there, but his role was so important in taking the narrative forward. For me, it felt like for example, there is a Hindi term called Sutradhar, somebody who's like a glue who binds it all, keeps it all together. So whenever he
Correct.
would appear, I knew that now he is coming in with some sort of important information that can help Karthi or other characters to then join the dots and then take the narrative forward again. So for me,
Right.
that was a very important, and also his comic timing was really good. So I really
Okay.
enjoyed his character.
Anything you did not like in the film overall?
Yes, I didn't. Nambi, yes, his name was Nambi. uh, Yuvraj commented Nambi. So
Yes. Thank you, Yuvraj. Shout out to you.
yeah, what I didn't like was, so if you remember, a lot of outdoor scenes, especially the scenes where you have this huge backdrop and there's a landscape. So it felt a little bit the like it you could tell that it's shot on green screen. Like
Okay.
it wasn't the best of the visual effects, or the CGI was not probably as good in those scenes. Like whatever they've shot indoors, it's completely baffling. But
Right.
at times, like especially the trees or the whole terrain and the
Ah.
backdrop, those things felt a little bit odd to my eyes at times, and I could tell that this is not finesse. This is not something that a well-made film can have. A well-made film cannot have those sort of little flaws,
Hmm.
especially if you have taken so
Got
much
it.
time to make this film. You cannot really afford to have those little things just left like that. So for
Does
me,
anyone
they
in the
were.
audience know, or do you know how much time it took to shoot this entire film or something?
I don't know, but see,
Anyone
it's
knows in the audience, please let me
yeah,
know.
but still, the somebody like a Mani Ratnam who is such an experience and such an experienced director, and he's kind of a perfectionist when it comes to visual value. So that way, I didn't expect those sort of little turn-offs, right? Because when everything is
Right.
so good, that little thing can it can tick you, like anything.
Okay.
Like the climax was so good, so well done. The VFX was so good. That whole climax scene. But then
Hmm.
at the same time, when you look at those things in the background, and yeah, I was like, if my eyes or any layman's eyes can point it out, why didn't they, just smoothen it enough for us to not make out the difference that this is shot in green screen or whether this is real?
Okay. I honestly like now when you're saying it, I'm not able to recall it because I honestly did not feel that.
Okay.
Where it looks a little bit fake or something like that. That is very very obvious to my eyes because, like I said, I was more engrossed in the dialogue and all of it.
Yeah.
So I think because I was so engrossed, all of those things took a backseat. And I think the way they shot the entire thing on the sea,
Hmm.
that was really well done.
You watched it
Not
in
like
Hindi or Tamil?
Hindi. I watched it in
Okay.
Hindi only. I watched it in Hindi. So because the Tamil show surprisingly did not have the subtitles. I don't know why. Even Mammootty's film right now it has come with
Yeah,
subtitles
yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
In Mumbai, it's still not with subtitles. I wanted to watch it and review on my channel, and it's not available in Mumbai,
Yeah, so
Chhatri.
I'm gonna watch it next week because now it's on with subtitles. So yeah, so for this movie, for specifically for the VFX, I did not like nothing stuck out like a sore thumb for me personally because everything was fine. I don't even remember it now that oh this was particularly not great because for me I think the way they shot the entire climax and the fight on the sea with the ship, that was I was very very satisfied with that. I was very very satisfied with that. And
Maybe if you watch it a second time, you can focus on those points if your eyes
maybe
catch it.
I don't know if it's gonna be that obvious if whenever
Hmm.
it comes on the
Yeah, yeah. On
OTT.
small screen, you might not. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. But overall, I feel this movie did its job.
yeah,
Even though there are mixed reviews, I feel that the movie did its job because for every actor, for me, Mani Ratnam made every actor and every character stand out. It's not easy
yeah,
with so much like if there's a small cast, you know that okay they will get so and so screen time. For me, like Karthi got the maximum screen time. Not everybody got equal share of screen time, but whatever space they got, I think Mani Ratnam made them stand out. So I
yeah.
am looking forward to see all of these characters once again whenever the second one drops. Because even though there are mixed reviews, maybe not a lot of people will be hyped as much for PS2.
Yeah.
People who loved it would be like for me personally, I really am looking forward to the second part. But I don't know how they're gonna promote it. I feel this I said in my review also the way they promoted this film, I think they missed the mark somewhere. They promote because they used so many war scenes in the trailer and made it such a hype trailer. I think that's where suddenly people were like, what? Why? Where are the war scenes? Where is the action? Where is that,
And
family
also,
goosebump moment?
did you feel the action sequences were a little repetitive? Like, I just felt that a few scenes had the novelty factor, like the climax or the face-off between Ponniyin Selvan and Karti's character. They had the novelty, but otherwise, especially the crowd fights, the huge fights, had a little bit of a repetitiveness to them. Like they were not very much different from each other. So I felt that maybe the action choreography could have been a little different there.
For me, the action choreography was okay because it was like it was shown in a very raw format. I loved the first set piece when the movie started with Vikram, when he
Yeah,
invaded. That was really nice. But in the later ones, that one with the elephant thing
yeah,
and all of that, I don't know. It just felt the editing felt off to me. I don't know, like the way they shot it. I don't know why
yeah. So
it
the
and
way,
certain details like I again this thing was just completely like one thing which stuck out like a sore thumb for me. The scene on the ship and Karti's tied up like this,
uh,
when they pull him up, and that knot is not a knot, he's just holding it. So it's being very obvious, and they're constantly zooming on the hand. So, like you said, Mani Ratnam being a director who's paying so much attention to detail. I don't know how he missed that detail on the edit table because it's so obvious that I know that if Karthi just moves his hand like this, that rope will fall off. So he's
maybe
holding that.
I think because a lot of VFX and CGI was involved in that scene, probably this just could have been the best they could afford to have in that. Uh, uh,
I'm pretty sure the rope was not CGI.
you never
You
know
never know.
what's the reason behind that, but because if they have left it like that, there must have been some reason, right?
Correct,
Logically, it doesn't make sense. So there must have been some reason behind it.
correct, correct. I and do you feel that that criticism that don't expect people, like initially when you said someone going with a blank slate will have confusion in the beginning, but a filmmaker's job is also to present the movie in that a way that somebody who's walking in for the first time does not have that confusion. You give the context in such a way, not dumb it down for the audience, but give it in such a way that everybody understands, the collective masses understand. So I get that view also, that I understand when people are saying no, it's too much for us. Okay, we have not read the novel, so you can't expect us to just grasp everything. And frankly, for you and me both also, it took like a good 30 minutes to get hold of the film. So do you feel somewhere that it should have been Mani Ratnam's responsibility in a way, or you feel that no, the way it was presented is just fine? We have to do our own research.
Yeah, देखो, for me it's simple. Like as you said, like for example, that family which went out in the interval, right?
Right.
You should never judge a book by its cover. You have to watch the whole film and then come to a conclusion whether all your questions are answered or not. If in the first half an hour or by the interval you're still confused, that means you're not patient enough to watch this kind of a cinema, or you're not the experience in the past of watching complicated screenplays, or maybe world cinema where it's not your language, and you have to consume something which is out of your comfort zone in a way. So
Right.
I think I don't think it's Mani Ratnam's fault at all, because by the end of the film you have your answers, right? By
Right.
the end
Of
of the
course.
film, in fact, when that PS1 logo turns to PS2 and it shows 2023, I got excited. And I am
Hmm.
also the same guy who was a little confused in the first few minutes, but I got all my answers, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
think it's on the audience, and to each his own. I mean, if it's an audience who enjoys non-brainer entertainer masala films, where
Hmm.
you don't have to think much, if you have been catered all that sort of stuff for so long and then suddenly you sit through this, of course it will be a little difficult for you to grasp everything in the first
Hmm.
go. And the Tamil audience is not alien to that kind of a cinema, right? They have
And
been.
it did so well. PS1 did really well.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 2 weekends, so one of my friends in Chennai, who himself worked on the film,
Okay.
who mixed the music for A.R. Rahman in this film, he said apart from after the premiere, he couldn't get a ticket for the first 10 days or so. So so that was a craze, right? And this is
Right.
the same Tamil audience who has been born and brought up watching a lot of Masi films of Rajnikant and so
Hmm.
many other people, where you don't have to think much. You just have to
Correct.
just sit there,
Go
relax,
and
have
enjoy.
popcorn, and enjoy.
Right.
So if they are, I can understand that if non-Tamilians or North Indians have that complaint from Mani Ratnam that it was too complicated for us. That's still
Right.
understandable. But for them also, I would still say sit through the film, and also not just part one, even watch part two. There's so much things remaining, for everything to come to a full circle, which will be there in part two.
Hmm. See,
It's
I like Vishnu's
kind of like
comment over here.
Brahmastra, kind of like
Yeah.
Brahmastra, right? Where part two is still to come, and of course there are flaws in part one, but then it's a trilogy, so you should wait
Give it a
for
chance.
everything to get rounded off.
Correct. Correct. I like Vishnu's comment over here. I'm of the same opinion as BR in his Q&A about PS1. He said non-Tamil people can at least go through the name of the characters and brief of a story, just because actors may not be. Matlab, again, the audience can give that argument once again, that why should we go through the names? I mean, that is always like debatable every time, because one will have this opinion, other will have a polar opposite opinion again.
Yeah, but see, I don't get this one point which I heard in BR video, and also a few other people like my Tamilian friend said that since North Indians don't know these actors, that could also add to their complications in understanding. So I
Hmm.
don't understand, even if there was a known actor whom we know in North, how big of a difference could it make? Because the character's name would still be the
Is
same,
that exactly?
and the who's who and how are they related, all those complications in the film would still remain, right? So even if we know the real name of that actor whom we have known before, I don't think it could make things any easier than it's right now.
Correct. Interesting. No, interesting because for me also, like if I'm interested in a film, to be very honest, if I'm really interested in a film and if it's based on some adaptation, I do my own research and stuff like that.
Mm.
But now because I make videos and all of that, that time is not there. Initially, when I used to do my job, and if a film is coming up which is based on an adaptation, I used to do okay, which is this character. Even say for a movie like for Marvel, say Marvel Cinematic Universe, I got introduced to all these characters through the cinema. Like Spider-Man, obviously everybody knows
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Batman, and all those mainstream characters. But then, out of interest, I started doing my own reading. Okay, because there's so many websites that give you context. Okay, what is the storyline and origin? And that makes me. So I think it depends from audience to audience. Somebody who is really like, I'm a movie buff, so I will do my own research.
No,
But
but there's another school of thought. There are a lot of people, a lot of movie buffs who want to get surprised. Like I have a friend who doesn't even watch trailers. Okay, he just
oh,
wants to go in there and just get surprised.
experience the film.
Let's see what's in store for me.
Interesting. Wow,
Yeah.
I've never met someone like that. That's really interesting. Like I cannot live without watching
at
the trailer.
times he is completely flabbergasted because if the film is bad and if he chooses to watch that film, like, so I went for that film which came, no, Everything Everywhere All at Once. uh,
Yes, yes.
so we
But
went for
that's
that.
supposed to. I've heard really good stuff about that film.
There Yeah, I had heard really good stuff about it too, but it's not everyone's cup of tea, right? And he
Correct.
went in without seeing the trailer as usual, and he is not really a big fan of the whole alternative universes kind of a thing. So
Okay.
he was like, "Oh my god, what did I come into?" So
Ah,
there is like pros and cons of having that school of thought as well.
got it. Got it. Got it. So yeah, so I think we've been streaming for what 40 minutes now. Huh? Any closing thoughts on the film? What are your expectations from PS2 now?
PS2,
You have not read the novel, so you can do guesswork.
I'm I am very much interested in seeing where the arc of Vikram and Aishwarya goes from here on. And
Right.
we didn't even 40 minutes. We didn't even talk about Aishwarya Rai. I mean, not just the way she was presented on screen. She always looks beautiful, but this was probably the first time where there's a bit of gray shade, and her
I
eyes were
love
doing
that.
the talking. And so casting, they got spot on here.
Spot on. Everybody. I love literally everybody in the like.
Yeah,
Not even a single person I thought no miscasted, and I was not even thinking of them as actors because
yeah.
I know a lot of actors over there. It's not like I'm familiar with the actors. At least I've seen a couple of their movies.
Hmm.
Aishwarya, so obviously I know. But for her also, I was thinking of her as Nandini only. She was
Yeah.
so convincing. Like I loved all the characters. I
And
loved Karti's character
and
also.
And at the end, like if you remember, like when they show, uh, there's a little sneak peek when she's swimming through the
Yes, that
waters.
was a good cliffhanger. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, talk about a good way of ending a part one and then anticipation about part two. I
correct,
think those are the right ingredients for a great recipe, and
correct.
I'm sure, and I'm also sure that PS2 will be better. Whatever flaws this one had, or whatever little bit of turn offs we both found, like you found that thing, and
Yeah.
I that
I don't know.
CGI thing.
It's a very little thing, but somehow I'm not able to forgive it because the entire world building and the entire VFX done on this piece so good That one thing was just so. I was like, why? Please don't zoom in. If you have to do it like that, just don't zoom in on his hand. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, and also I think, see, I have spent 6 years in Chennai. Okay, so I am a bit familiar with the Tamil culture and the Tamil people and
Hmm.
what it means for them to have this film finally made and see it come to life, watching it on big screen. And I know that this film of so much value to them might not be as much value to people outside of
Correct.
Tamil Nadu.
I
Like
completely agree.
somebody said people in Kerala didn't like that film, which was surprising for me because I thought at least in the South Indian circuit people will resonate with it more than the rest
More
of North India.
true.
But that's not the case. So I think just in terms of PS1 for Tamil audiences, it's like the peak of Tamil cinema, I would say.
Right.
And this
Hmm.
this has been a great year for them. Like Vikram was such a huge success, and now this one.
Yeah.
And in terms of Indian cinema, just the visual spectacle wise, like we had
Yeah.
Brahmastra this year, we had PS1, we had Kantara, we had RRR. So I think that way 2022 is such
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
for Indian cinema.
I agree. It's been a very interesting and really nice. There's a lot of representation from so many industries. It feels great, actually. It
Yeah.
does feel great. So, so any closing thoughts before we end the stream? We are gonna do Kantara, please, before the comments come in. I'm just saying that we will also discuss Kantara in
Yeah.
detail.
The closing thoughts are I would like to see what what's in store for us in PS2 in terms of, see, I have not read the novel. People who have read the novel, they probably already know what's to come.
Correct.
So my thinking would be different. You are going through the book, so your thinking would be a little different now. So I just didn't. First of all, I'm not a good reader. Okay, I'm a very impatient reader, so I anyway don't read much. And secondly, I just don't want my thought process to be colored when I go to a film.
Okay.
Like so many films have been made on novels, but I've never gone into a film after having read the novel, and because I then know what's going to happen. Right, I want to get that surprise element. Like even when I was working on Brahmastra, whenever they would have the visuals on screen for us when we are recording the backgrounds, I would just look the other way.
Okay.
I would just close
That would
my
have been
eye.
difficult for you.
Yeah, because I don't want to know what's there, because these kind of films are proper theatrical experiences. So
Correct.
these are not like films that you can just wait for OTT and you can just. So for me, like it has to be a wholesome experience where you are completely into the film, and PS1 was one such film.
Same. Even my expectation is that I just want to see. Of course, the world building has been done. Now I feel that we know the characters. Probably more characters will be introduced later, but we know the main characters now. And now, like going in, I just want to see how they basically bite off each other's back in
Yeah,
an
and for
interesting
me,
way.
the main thing I'll be looking forward to, as I said before, is the arc between Aishwarya Rai and
And yes, Aditya. Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
So I think for me that was also like I got goosebumps at the interval section. When he just kills that character and she's in the background, and
Correct.
that was such a good point to just break the first half. So who knows what's in store in the second half. I mean, people know who have read the novel.
People know, a lot of people know.
Yeah.
I'll also know eventually. Vishnu says I miss Nona in this live. Yes, Nona was busy, otherwise he would have also joined us. He would have also joined us. We
Professor
are
is
like the
saying
holy
Kanta.
trinity. We are like the
Yeah,
holy trinity, always discussing movies. So
and
yeah,
this is
I
the
feel
first live stream on your channel, so people would have
on my channel
expected
I
that.
really wanted Nona. I mean, it was honestly
Yeah.
like on my first live stream I wanted you and him both, but it's okay. And yeah. Oh, interesting.
Oh
Before I
God, why is
close
he
off,
giving spoilers? Yeah, somebody just
you're
put a.
somebody put a smile. Okay, close your eyes.
No, I've
All
already
right.
read it. It said Kari Kalan will be killed in second part.
What? Where? Oh no. It's okay. I would have known only because I'm reading the novel.
The professor said Kantara Hindi released today. Yes, I know. I just came from there an hour back, and
I'm watching it tomorrow in Hindi. So
I'm still
forget
in
the
the
second
Kantara
language.
zone, but somehow we were able to talk for 45 minutes on PS1.
Yes, yes. So yeah, guys, 34 people watching us. I'm really happy you guys joined us because this is my first live stream here, and everything went off without a glitch. I was really, I mean, we spent half an hour setting everything up because I did
Yeah,
not know. So thank you, Keshav, for joining me on the channel, and
thank you.
thank you for helping me setting up the stream.
No,
That
no,
was
no.
also a big help.
I'm glad that you are finally into the live streaming
Yes.
business, and
Hello,
it,
Sri Hari.
it's more engaging, because in real time you can engage with the audience, and
Correct.
you will get a hang of it. Like once you start
Once
figuring
you
it out,
start,
you will do at least once a week. It's
yeah.
very interesting.
Vishnu, no more spoilers.
Yes, please.
Vishnu,
I have
Vishnu
not
will.
read the novel. Okay, so please.
All right. So, okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll end the stream now, and hope you had fun watching this live. And I plan to do much more of these
Yeah, and please
moving forward.
subscribe to All Things Cinema. Where is it? Here. All Things Cinema
Sure.
Vodcast is
Yes.
my channel where I review here and there a little bit, once a week or something. And
Yeah. And he's a
my
fabulous
main,
singer also.
yeah, and my main channel is my music channel. So I'm sure she'll put the links.
I will. Once I end this, I edit my this thing.
Yeah.
I'll put the links to all the channels. Okay, guys, thank you for joining us. Thanks, Keshav, for joining. Guys, tata, bye bye, good night. Have a great weekend. Okay.